Drink to that, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers to seeing you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you pay for that.
Io canto la vita perché sono vivo.
I have a challenging song that I want very good musicians to play for
When
me.
are they coming?
They'll be here in a half hour, so we gotta wrap this up.
They were busy.
As quick as possible. So that was the origin. And then once I figured out who's gonna be here, I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is basically Julio's band, you know? I mean, we've all traveled around the world. You, the three of us together, and you with Julio over the years, in your own
Twice.
Had some good times.
Yeah, good times and some tough times too. I mean, it's no lie. I mean, you know, just the fact that traveling was more grinding, more, you know, demanding than you realize. I don't know if you were going to Azerbaijan. Were you on that one? Were you on that one? Where the kids playing? I mean, there's a hole in the plane.
Yeah.
You know,
Like a skylight.
people.
I was on one that had that same thing, but I think it was
They were
in
using
Russia.
the door handle, like playing on that for a coat rack. You know? Everyone was smoking.
Were you flying into Greece? Luckily, I was one of the first people to get on board because you look at, you know, there's a passenger area that had a couch and had a lazy boy and a table. Then you go in the back and there's like 20 these theater type chairs, right? I'm like, no, I'm sitting on the couch.
That's right. That was the year that Athens had the earthquake.
The earthquake.
That you kept feeling I think you felt every
There
aftershock
was at least 417.
that you kind of,
Yeah.
that no one else felt, but you did.
I did.
You felt
You didn't feel that?
Exactly. That was the line for the meeting. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? No, my joking. I don't think so.
I slept in the lobby, you know.
Yeah.
I was like,
That was.
and I was brave enough. I took 20 minutes to go upstairs, take a shower, and pack all my clothes.
I had my plan too. I had never experienced it, and right across was that sort of open area with like some columns. I figured, well, we were safe there if anything should happen.
Yeah, we did evacuate there, but then once it was like all clear after the building had gone like this, I'm like, no.
Right.
Did you
Now,
feel that?
that I felt. I was napping though, and it took me a minute to realize, oh yeah, we're in Athens and they can't have earthquakes here. And then, and then the crack appeared.
I was at the pool, and all of a sudden I saw the water start going like this, and then the two sides of the hotel going like this.
Oh, goodness.
Wow, you got to see that, the real action.
You know, I mean, we were 30 miles from the epicenter, so we didn't even get the whole, you know, the brunt of the punch, I guess.
That was this day.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I looked pretty much the same.
Yeah.
We were all together, and I left the group because it was Mike's birthday, and Keela gave me some money to get him cake. So I left the group, and walking back to the hotel, this guy comes up to me and says, "Give me your passport." I'm like, "No." He said, "I'm police." I'm like, "No, you're not." And then he pulls out the gun.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's always a
He
nice
said, "Give me your
thing.
passport," and he took me down an alley.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I had this because he was a nice criminal. After a while, I said, he took my camera and I said, "Can I at least have the film?" But I just took pictures.
Oh, that's thoughtful.
Sweet of
Sweet
you.
guy.
Yeah.
What's that? You know that bit?
Cool. This is the theater in the Acropolis.
Probably the best gig
Oh, yeah.
I've had as far as, well, first of all, experiencing, you know, what are the 10 many feet from fame, experiencing superstardom.
Yeah.
You know, it was in Europe that you could tell that this guy was the real deal. Because in the States, he did great, you know, gigs, Caesar's Palace and those theaters in the round. But when you got to Europe and he's filling, you know, stadiums and football stadiums and bull rings and all that, that was pretty amazing. Plus, I mean, when am I going to have a gig in Moscow or St. Petersburg or Israel or Crimea?
Yeah. Probably never again.
You know,
Yeah.
they were great. I mean, and it certainly, at least for my first 4 years, the gigs were done right.
I always say, you know, played St. Mark's Square. At the time, only 4 people in history had performed, you know, and we were one of them.
Well, I'd always heard the from Finland to China, so I never got to see China, but we did finally go.
I never
I guess I didn't either.
I saw China.
We did
I didn't
China.
know.
I did you China or Finland?
Yeah.
mi sale dell'alma. Gritar con calor, abrir este pez, vaciar este grito que no está listo palabras de honor.
I've been around the world twice. These kids, you know, now everywhere, but
All right, who's
Circle
been to the
the
most
globe,
countries,
you know?
though?
Yeah.
Who's been to the most? I got 53. Anybody?
no.
Wow.
Now
I
you
can't-
got
I
me.
did count.
I'm in the
Actually,
50s, yeah.
Wow. I mean, I have to be there. I never counted that though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
And then every now and then you had the perk of flying on his plane. He would.
Yeah.
Once.
know.
I did that
Who
once,
wants to
and-
fly home with me? Heck yeah.
You had to pay for it. You had to
You
pay
mean
for
with
it.
you or Aeroprop? No, you. He could be awfully charming, especially in those situations where he wasn't surrounded
Yes.
by all his people.
Yes.
And it was just like him on his plane. He was fantastic, fun and gracious, and
Yeah.
you know.
I always noticed he loved your family. You know,
Yeah, he was
always
good with
wanted to
the
know
families, too.
how's your wife? How, you know, how the kids? Are they, you know?
Tuve para ti. Quién sabe si supieras que nunca te he olvidado, volviendo a tu pasado, te acordarás de mí.
It was the pinnacle of my career. You know, just being able to see the world. You know, seeing
Yeah. And honestly, musically, I mean, I always thought of that as a session. You know, it's like, this is the gig. You know, he wants to create a certain mood,
Yeah.
and you know, it's you throw all the other stuff that aren't required, and you just, you know, you approach it like a studio session.
Well, I was basically always in the shadow of, you know, the guys who came before me and Skaggs, you know, set the bar for just everything what he wanted to expect solo-wise and stuff. So I felt the pressure to play the first time around, the first 3 years I did with him, you know, note for note, and no creativity, except for, you know, Mayba at the end, and I could just kind of go, whatever. But, you know, but I always felt
first time?
pressure, yeah, first time.
The time we played it in a row.
My first tour with them was like 2000. Yeah.
No, it's like the same night.
The same night, yeah. Oh, or that, yeah.
Come on, Houston. Let's see Yolanda. Come on. Where are you? ¿Dónde están las gentes que hablan español esta noche? ¿Dónde están mis gentes latinas? Me va, me va, me va, me va, me va. Me va la vida, me va la gente de aquí y de allá.
A good part of a lot of gigs is not exactly the music. You know, it's the awareness, it's the sort of camaraderie, the sensitivity to the artist, and then what they need to. I mean, you're backing them up. There was never a point there where you go, this is my gig. This is Julio's band.
Yep.
You know, and it's about that. It's about him.
All right. So, what was your favorite place to visit?
Probably to Spain, because we were there for 3 months in a row in Roman ruins with this beautiful breeze rolling over the hills, looking out, you know, like it could have been 2,000 years ago, just looking out at this beautiful, peaceful country.
So is that okay? I guess the question could be too: where would you go back
Oh,
to see again?
There are places that I probably won't get back to
Yeah.
professionally, and I'm not sure that I'm not going to go to Moscow for vacation.
Yeah.
No,
But it's
professional. I mean,
but it's amazing.
What would I go see again?
Yeah, I mean, I will say Israel was pretty amazing. Like to be in Jerusalem and all of that was pretty freaking amazing to visit that place. Historically, it's obviously super important. But and I remember another place that I did not know much about, and it was the first time I remember being blown away by like architecture and the sites was Bangkok.
Oh yeah.
Like the temples there it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect. So yeah, I mean those two places of the places I went with him, I think stand out. And I mean, St. Petersburg was kind of cool too in Russia. Yeah.
What about you, Pete?
I definitely say Moldova.
Yeah.
So
Woo.
I
That
love
brown rice.
the towel in the hotel that was like hard and this big. And the soap that didn't come off. That was nice.
I remember the water in the shower being brown.
Yeah. That was pretty. Nah, I don't think I'll go back there.
That my
I thought
people-
you were in like Norway and stuff when we did that.
No,
You didn't know that was
I didn't do any of the
Russia?
Scandinavian countries.
That was nice.
No, I'm sorry. I did do Denmark. We played at Tivoli Gardens. That was and that was right after St. Petersburg, in fact.
Mhm.
But that was the only time. No, I didn't do Norway.
That was a fun trip.
All those
Australia
messes.
was always fun.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
All the foods, like that one trip, Mike, you only ate bread and French fries.
When I first started,
Man, I don't. Do I know about this?
And beer, no beer.
Wait a minute. What? I need to hear about
That
that.
sounds like much.
I was afraid.
We all got sick one in Romania.
Oh,
I would say 24 out of 26
Oh, I think I
people
was on that.
got sick. Yeah, it was 5-star hotel.
Yeah, there's a food poisoning thing. Yeah.
And I stuck to French fries
And bread.
Ooh.
Can't go wrong.
More breado.
Yeah, right. You know, but yeah, I was just afraid. I mean, it's like my thought was, well, if you can't drink the water, how can you eat the food? How can you eat the salads and stuff? You know, but it was a dairy product. I think that did people in Romania.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, for the record, I did not eat just French fries and bread.
For like a week. You did for like
That's what
a
you're
week.
serving now.
Wait, for a week at least. Yeah.
but that's our dinner now.
But no. Yeah, I'm really sad. Surprise.
You know,
But you know, we were in Brazil. You know, Churrascarias and Argentina, where we went to Tranquilao.
Yeah,
I did
we
not.
went to those people's houses.
So we went there, and the locals invited us, and they had like barbecuing with wood fire grills down the side. You know.
By the way, yeah. No, you're right. You don't
Some of these
surprise me.
places you go to, the local cuisine is just, you gotta try it out. And I know that you gotta stay away.
Exactly. I should have mentioned, when you asked about great places, and certainly one of my fondest memories was that little islands trip we did in Greece, where we rented the mopeds.
Yeah, that was
ridiculous. That was some fun stuff.
Just around the island in Greece here. I'm not gonna say that.
And they pay me for that.
And they pay me for that.
The thing that I appreciate most about my career in music is the travel.
Yeah.
That I've been able to travel basically on someone else's dime, and experience the world, and exactly for the reason that he says. I mean, I love it, but you do really get a sense of, man, the world is not as crazy and divided as people
We never
think.
saw any. I mean, where were we? Lima, Peru. They had military on all the street corners, which was a little unnerving. But other than that,
In Italy,
we
though,
never
that's
saw
there
anything
too. Yeah.
out of it.
And the thing is, you could be in those countries and, have the best time, and then realize when you get home that, something that happened,
Right.
in some distant area was like the headline in news, because that's what news is. It's not every day that, we wake up and nothing happens. It's always the,
Right. Well, I take that back though. We were in the Athens earthquake, so that was
totally.
worldwide news.
Well, yeah, and that's a real thing. But I'm saying sometimes, it's like,
other than that,
you think,
yeah.
well, whatever. It's like, God, in the States, though, it happens all the time. Something's happening in any city, and if you go by headlines, man, you're afraid to go anywhere.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's head up to the studio and knock this thing out.
See
I was about ready
see
to
how
start.
far see how far away we are from recording this.
All right, cool.
Thank